Guys, my video cut out for some reason. Getting back to it though, nativism, native-born Americans, not talking like Native Americans in the sense of Andrew Jackson and the Cherokee during the Trail of Tears issue. This is native-born Americans in terms of they're born here in America, and they're going to have a dislike of foreigners coming in. This is going to be exemplified in how they treat them. The Chinese Exclusion Act, for instance, no Chinese whatsoever, limit the rights that are here, etc., can't become citizens. Chinese are, again, going to be a big target just because they're going to be so different, so easily different. They're also going to be seen as more of a problem because on the West Coast there's fewer native-born Americans than in the East. So even though there's not that many Chinese immigrants coming in compared to Europeans, it's going to seem like there's a lot more due to there being fewer native-born Americans, which, it comes back to, oh, they're taking our jobs again, they're lazy, they're doing this, they're that, they don't believe in what we believe, etc. So it's going to be them a much bigger target for that. All right, these cartoons, we talked about it a little bit in class. America here not wanting to let all these immigrants in due to the things over there, poverty, disease, anarchy, you name it. Uncle Sam here kind of losing his mind, so are the immigrants. Where do you put them? What do you do with them? Troublemakers, etc. What do you do? Uncle Sam doesn't have a clue here. This is kind of ironic. You'll notice that says notice up there, and all these bad things that people would say are generally bad types of people, they're allowed to come in. No Chinamen, which is ironic in this sense because the Chinese are industrious, they work hard, they follow the laws, etc. So it's kind of pointing out the hypocrisy of excluding the Chinese. All right, check out the Chicago World Fair if you guys want to in 1893. There's a good link down there. Do a little research if you want to do it on your own. Urbanization, people are moving to the cities. Who's actually going? You're going to have people coming, from elsewhere, the immigrants, major immigrant population looking for jobs, etc., new opportunities. People are going to move from farms to the city, again, largely because there's going to be technology allowing them to have fewer farmers do the same amount of work with less people. These graphs here just kind of show over about a 60-year period how the demographics flip in terms of rural population to urban population. Many more people moving to the cities, and by 1920, more people actually live in cities than the rural countryside. This just kind of shows the East is going to grow, in particular with those coastal cities. San Francisco will a little bit as well. Cities are going to grow in terms of population, in particular because of the immigrant influx, and they're going to center in all these cities are going to grow in particular because there's jobs and opportunities in there. The Midwest grows a little bit due to it being similar to home for a lot of immigrants and where they're coming from Europe. Plus, industry is going to be spreading there, so that's another thing too. Skyscrapers allow people to build up. Couldn't do this previously before due to the poor quality of steel. It's too heavy. It's not strong enough. It gets pretty windy, get up several hundred feet, and you don't want skyscrapers being blown over, which could legitimately happen. Skyscrapers do wobble and lean just a little bit even today, but they are structurally able to do that. They've designed them that way, whereas previously you couldn't do that because the steel wouldn't hold up. Mass transit, you're going to have different problems. You're going to have accidents, you're going to have congestion, you're going to have all sorts of problems going on. How do you solve them? Well, you're probably going to form some committees to figure out a way to do so. Reevaluate, how are we doing this? What are we doing? You can put stop signs, stop lights. You can, create turn lanes, create, trolleys in the right-hand line, horse-drawn carts in the middle, and foot traffic on the left or something like that, but you're going to have to figure out a way to reorganize this thing. Subways, L trains, elevated trains above, those are going to come about too. Just got to reorganize and rethink things because these are older cities with these newer technologies and stuff built in, so it's going to have to be rethought. How the other half lives here, we looked through this in class a little bit. Tenements, they're going to be low cost, multiple family houses. You could have, 10 people in a 10 by 10, living situation, which is very small, very crowded. Poor lighting conditions, sanitation is going to be bad. There might only be one restroom to use between 2 or 3 families, which is going to lead to it being pretty gross, which is going to lead to potential disease, etc. You're not going to be clean yourself probably, which is, again, dirt, disease is going to be there. Plus living with so many people that, and depending on what their job is, that could bring stuff in. Just not a good situation. You can see in the picture there, they're kind of leaning. If you look through the tenement pictures a little bit or watch this video clip with Jacob Riis again, just terrible situations. And Jacob Riis becomes a muckraker. He's a crusading journalist trying to shed light on the nastiness of American society, the underbelly. Most of the more well-off people don't even realize that there is, quote, this other half that's really in America, and he sheds light on that. So that is the gist there of how the other half lives in tenements. And that really wraps us up for topic 2. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. Check out Canvas. There's several things up there, including a learning guide. There is the topic 2 review materials, which is going to include a link to this video, to the Quizlet, and a general study guide. If you guys have any questions, email me or see me before the test on Monday. Best of luck and have a good weekend.